Big night for the Nats. They win it 6-4, and a big night for Davey Johnson to talk about it all downstairs with the media.
Davey, Chen Ming Wang got off to a slow start, but then he settled down. What did he do to settle down, and how happy were you to see him get out of trouble?
Well, McCaddy told me he was watching him. He said he's too strong. He's too strong. I said no, he's just getting loose. I mean, he's getting the ball a little bit up, but you know, I didn't think he was too strong. I just think, you know, sometimes you don't make perfect pitches. Pretty good hitting ball club, and you know, he pitched a heck of a ball game. He got the ball up a little late. I probably was one hit or two. Didn't go too long. I had him my clip ready for Renteria, but he threw a lot of great pitches. I actually threw more breaking balls tonight, and was real pleased with his effort.
Davey, we always wondered what Michael would do with a full season of at-bats under his belt, and he's got 6 weeks left, and he's going to put up some pretty decent numbers.
I mean, he's been really consistent all year. He's been, ever since I've been here, he's, you know, he hadn't had really a bad day. You know, he missed one day, came back and hitting ropes the next day. You know, I mean, I don't know where we'd be without him. He's been awfully good.
How impressed have you been, particularly the power he's showing to the opposite field on a nightly basis?
Well, as strong as he is and big as he is, you know, I remember him a couple of years ago. He said he was a shortstop, and I asked him the other day. I said, you know, you a shortstop? How much do you weigh? 220? He said, no, 240. I said, well, no, you're too big for a shortstop. You know, he's been awfully consistent. The good thing about him, I mean, he has got a lot of power, but he uses all the fields. The little move he makes before he goes up, that's kind of a Japanese move. I taught him. He kind of does a little Japanese move, and I kind of like it. It's kind of fun.
Talk a little bit about, you know, how you always look for eye in the future. To be able to have more sort of emerge this year as a guy who went from, you know, maybe a bench player, maybe a left field, you know, to be like sort of a big piece, it looks like. How significant is that in your mind?
Well, I mean, you know, starting the year he was going to be a left fielder, and then with the injury to Adam, you know, but you know, I'm thinking at some point in time in the season, you know, I might move him back out there and see how he does out there. So that's, you know, ideally when LaRoche comes back, you know, we'll have LaRoche at first and probably him in left field, but definitely we'll have him somewhere, you know, every day.
I was going to say, just the fact that now you're making decisions with the idea of we have to get this guy in the lineup somehow, that's a pretty big step for him.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was, when I first got here, I think Nixie was hitting cleanup, but it didn't take me long to make that change. He just been every at bat, you know. I mean, he quality at bats, and I mean, I really like. He got tremendous power the other way, but he's just a good hitter. I mean, he hits a breaking ball, fastball. Doesn't matter what they throw him. Just a good hitter.
Mr. Johnson, how do you see Chen Ming Wang's performance? You were saying pre-game that you probably wanted him to throw 100 pitches.
No, I said he could go to 100 pitches. You know, a lot of times, you know, and I didn't think he had his real good sinker tonight. But he threw a lot of strong innings, and I still had a lot of confidence in him. I had my all-world setup man out there, Clippard, ready. Pretty much after 2 hitters in the 7th, and I stayed with him. But he could, you know, he was strong enough to go further. But again, it's still early in his comeback. That was just his 4th game, and I think he's just going to get stronger. I think from what I'm seeing, he wasn't tired. He was still throwing the ball hard. You know, McCaddy might have been right. Maybe he was a little too strong this time out, and that's why he was getting the ball up.
Are you satisfied with his performance in general?
Definitely.
Zimmerman's been hitting the ball pretty well for average, but how good was it to see him really turn on one tonight?
Actually, he called that in the dugout. None of us believed him. He said he was going to hit a bomb, and he went up there, and I guess the guy was pitching him fastballs in early in the count, and he said, when he comes in there, I'm just going to hit it out of the ballpark. So it didn't surprise any of us. I asked him if he got all of it. He said, no, it kind of jammed him. Yeah.
What did he say specifically when he called it?
He just made it known to everybody on the bench. He said, I'm going to throw my fastball in, I'm going to hit it out of the ballpark. I'm going to bomb. And then after he hit the bomb, when he was coming up the next time up, I said, was that all there was? He said, no, it actually stung a little bit. It jammed him.
People are looking forward to people who are coming from Strasburg to Marrero to Peacock, all the rest. Some teams, when they incorporate new players, it kills their chances of finishing the season strong. Do you think those guys can be worked in and still have the team play for a good finish too?
Well, there's a couple of things. I'm really not real comfortable with the actual makeup of the club. I've never had 13 pitchers. And I've never had a bench this small. So I'll be happy when we can expand and I can get a bench that is more to my liking, a little more offense on the bench side. There's some guys that have earned the right to come up here and compete. And so that'll be, and I think one of the things about development, if you develop properly, the byproduct is winning. And so I see if anything we'll take a big step forward.
Oh, just to follow that up, you've also had a half dozen games where you had blowouts, like the one in Philly where you gave up 11 runs. When you get the 13-man staff you want, is that something that kind of disappears?
No, I don't want a 13-man staff. One of the things, the makeup of the staff is good. I mean, there's a lot of quality pitchers in the staff, but there are a lot of more setup guys, one-inning type pitchers. And I really like to have two long men. And when you have two long men, then you don't need as many guys in the bullpen. So that also, I mean, if you looked at the Phillies roster, they had 11 pitchers. Great offense, and they're still trying to add more offense to their bench. And they've always, from the start of the season, they had two starters in the pen. They had Worley and they had Kendrick. That's more a kind of makeup that I've, used all the years that I've been managing. More not relying on going from your starter to a one-inning pitcher. And when you have that makeup, then you can have a little more flexibility where you can have a few more bats on the bench. So, but it's very difficult in the middle of the season with the roster pretty set to get the club exactly the way you want it. So, ergo, I'll kind of be happy when we get to, I would be kind of uncomfortable if we went to 12 pitchers and one of the guys that we had to let go back was one of my long men. Because then if we had a problem, a pitcher couldn't post, or he had a problem early in the ball game, I would pretty much use up my bullpen. And we were very fortunate the first half of the year that didn't happen. I kept telling McCaddy and Riz, I said, man, how you guys doing it? And sure enough, as soon as I get here, all the things I've been warned about started happening. And so, I'm looking forward to expanding the roster and then some of the young guys, putting them in the lineup in different spots. Probably give me an opportunity at that point, too, to maybe make a change with Michael Morris. We got a guy down there that can play a little first base, and so I can put him back out there and get him used to running around in left field.